points are very murderous points, right? Put them all in the sea, bury them, this and that. It sounds great. It's not going to happen.
That's not what I say. That's what other people say. But
I've heard you. I've heard you say some talking points that were off the chart. Like, and I'm not saying that you're crazy or not. I'm not trying to say anything. I'm just saying you have different viewpoints as opposed to like me or.
Oh, I have very different viewpoints because I criticize everybody, but I try just going, just joking around or something, or just yelling at people. I try and keep it realistic when I'm actually analyzing.
I try to keep it realistic too and real to the core, and I don't criticize my own people because I play their game, and it's. But the problem is,
I think that's silly.
Well, it's not. I'm playing.
If you can't critically analyze, if you can't, that's just groupthink. Just groupthink to not critically analyze something.
It's not groupthink because this is the problem. Like I was in a room the other night where a guy's like, yes, 200 babies were killed in Gaza. I lost my fucking shit on the guy because he agreed to the talking point that 200 babies were killed in Gaza pre-October 7th. But he didn't give it context. The problem is, if you're going to criticize, you got to give it full context. Yes, there probably was 200 babies that died in Gaza. But because fucking there's a terrorist organization hiding behind babies. Israeli soldiers don't just walk in or civilians walk into Gaza and start murdering fucking babies. It just doesn't happen. So the problem is when you do give your viewpoint, you better make sure you back it up with some crazy logic.
And you know what I mean? Yeah.
Hold on, but the thing is, hold on, Mike. You've had the microphone for a long time. Do you think you should make room for someone else on the stage who's thoughtful, respectful?
You're welcome to chime in.
Okay, so I agree with everything BB has said. A solution that I favor that hasn't been discussed in this room, I don't think the Palestinians will be ready for 100 years to run their own country, but I don't want Israeli soldiers dying patrolling Gaza. So just don't interrupt me and let me give a humble, well thought out view. I think that the Gaza should be annexed to Saudi Arabia so that Saudi soldiers can be the ones killed by insane Palestinians. Saudi soldiers can build a new society there, and I trust Saudi Arabia to ruthlessly kill all the terrorists. There is no other military in the region that I trust to administer Gaza. God knows I don't trust the Gazans to administer it, and I don't trust the West Bank to administer it. So I humbly suggest that it be annexed to Saudi Arabia, it be demilitarized, thousands of Saudi police officers go there, establish control, and never, ever let the Gazans rule themselves. I'm done.
Well, I think you're onto something there. The only problem is that Saudi Arabia would not be interested. They wouldn't take something like that on. But I think you're right about the issue of a long-term military occupation to root out Hamas. It's going to be painful and expensive and difficult for Israel to do that without allies. And that is kind of one of the Achilles heels of Israel's military policy, is that they never want to work, they never want to have active, allied troops. They want to go it all themselves. And unfortunately, they have a limited population. They took 12,000 casualties in the war so far. A long-term occupation to root out Hamas.
Who took
6,000? Less than 6,000. Go to the.
Well, this is their own numbers.
No, but what do you mean by casualties?
I'll give you the exact number.
All casualties, including deaths and injuries and psychological injuries and.
Yes.
Hi, I'd like to respond to Fred, moderators.
Yes, sure.
Pardon?
I said I wanted to respond to what Fred said about Saudi Arabia taking over the
Can I ask
Gaza.
you a question? Are you recording the room, bro?
Yeah, I'm live streaming myself.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes.
Anybody
I'd say the plan makes some sense.
Yeah, we can hear you, J-Lo.
To get
what's up,
Saudi
BB?
Arabia to bite is
Check
just
it
not
in.
a tall task. They wouldn't do it the way it's configured today. Israel would have to defeat Hamas, have them basically on the ropes or symbolically leaving Gaza or something, and then you could potentially bring in some other allies, and then have Israel as like a rapid reaction force. It's very similar to a plan developed.
What's wrong with giving them a home? Like, I don't believe Egypt or Jordan is I believe that's too close. It's dangerous for Israel. Hold on, bro. Like, fuck, man. You got a trigger waiting to, like, you don't even listen. Like, sending them to a different part of the world, well, maybe 1,000 miles away, where they're not an immediate threat, and giving them that life that they're so-called screaming that they want. Giving them their homes where they can make jobs and be productive participants in society, as opposed to putting them next door where they're there biting their fucking nails, wondering how they can make a missile to shoot it into Israel. And then they're going to be in a structured society where it's going to be easy for them to obtain missiles, easy for them to fucking create chaos, easy for them to target Israeli civilians and terrorize the lives of Israelis. I think it's too much of a risk. And I don't believe patrolling them is going to do anything. That's going to just create a propaganda war that's even worse than what we have, saying then they're going to be able to say it even harder. Look, now we're being occupied. Now we're being oppressed. I think they need to relocate to a proper fucking place.
Okay, so just to get the data, hold on one second, just to get the data right. One second.
Why don't you let me respond?
Hold on, I just want to get the data right. I pinned the Swords of Iron database, which has the list of literally every single IDF casualty, name, rank, and where they were from.
People can look in the pin. People can look in the pin link. We're on fire right now.
Yaakov,
800.
Yaakov, you're so smart. Like, you tend to kill the conversation with facts. That fact is from 5 minutes ago. Like, put it in the room chat. No one cares, Yaakov. You're a good guy, but you kill the room. It is important that you understand this.
Right?
I'm going to respond to BB very succinctly. I love Yaakov, but I'm going to respond. Indonesia is a perfect place for a Palestinian homeland. Indonesia is already a Muslim country, and they have hundreds of totally vacant islands. So why not relocate all the Palestinians to Indonesia, let them have their own country there?
100%. 100%. Give them what they want. They want to be free, right? Give them a fucking place where it's going to be free. It'll never be free in fucking Gaza. It'll never be.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to moderators voice an opinion.
I mean, first of all,
put me in the queue, moderators, please.
Just before we jump into it, and Yaakov, don't take it personal. You're a beauty of a guy when it comes to stats and all that. Just post it in the chat because you're an abundance of knowledge. I love you as like a brother. Don't take like anything. And I think Fred made it a point too that he loves you. It wasn't an attack. We were just on fire there, going back and forth. Sorry.
I just don't like when people overinflate data, and Fred, I never talked to you like that in my life. It was highly disrespectful.
Well, I'm really sorry.
You're the Mr. Respectfully guy. You're the Mr. Respectfully guy.
Yaakov,
you will not tell me to hold on.
I'll go to the audience.
No,
do you
stay
want me to
there.
leave the room?
No, stay.
No. Don't leave the room.
I'll go to the audience, Yaakov.
No one's asking you to do
fucking
that.
grown men. Stop. He's just giving us his thing. Fred, stay up. I like
you
your
gave me feedback. I was giving you feedback. Okay, so you can dish it out. You need to listen to it. I'll do it another time. Okay, I never talked to anybody like that.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I just
No, hold on. Is there a queue? Because I've asked 4 times politely to speak.
Go ahead, one.
Okay, so I wanted to reply to Fred, and his idea about Saudi Arabia taking over the security of Gaza versus, putting a couple 100,000 people in Indonesia or Jordan or Egypt or Iraq or Lebanon or anywhere any of these people can go. It's a good thing for them to go. And, if it requires a check to get moving, I mean, they got to go. The area has to be secured, and that's what's going to happen, which is a perimeter, and every enemy combatant within that perimeter will have to surrender, or they will, unfortunately meet their end. And I think that's the ultimate inevitable solution and outcome. However, with the hostages, it becomes 1-to-1. It's like a hostage negotiation situation, literally like a movie with Denzel Washington negotiating out the hostages. And then after that, in my opinion, the war continues, and it will be then in one climactic battle that these enemy combatants will be wiped off the earth, and then the area and the perimeter will be secured. That's my opinion.
Yeah, it's just that really is missing a lot of details and nuance. So, I mean, Gaza's relatively small, but, we're talking about several small cities and a terror group that is embedded in with the civilian population and is basically well prepared to wage an insurgency while hiding among civilians. So the idea that you can find them and track them down one by one, this would take a long time, and it would take a lot of effort, and it will entail substantial costs. Now, can Israel do it? Probably. But are they willing to pay the price to do that? And that's where I personally have some doubts. No one knows for sure how hard it would be. But that's kind of where the rubber meets the road here. But we're not even to that point. We're fighting a battle where the IDF does raids. They attack an area, they kill some people, they capture some people, and then they leave. But the whole time they allow Hamas to continue basically running the strip, governing it, per se. So it's not clear to me what replaces Hamas. And if a group of other Arab countries do it, first of all, it would be something totally new. It's not on any of their agendas. It's not on that Egypt plan. The Egypt plan is to have just basically different Palestinians do it. And I don't think any Arabs are going to come in there and fight Hamas, nor are they going to allow millions of Palestinians to move to their country. So, it's all bad options, and this ain't going to be easy to finish this one off. And especially because Israel doesn't have allies to call on. There won't be U.S. troops in the ground. There won't be Canadian troops. There won't be European troops. There won't be Chinese troops or Indian troops or any of these other troops based on any of the plans I've seen. So it will be only Israelis that are taking the brunt of this insurgency if that's the way it goes. I feel like that's not really likely, that Israel isn't going to go through that. Instead, they're just going to try and land really hard blows and then just stand back and see what happens. I don't think that they really have a good strategic plan. Not one that I've seen.
Mike.
If they did, it begs the question, why didn't they pull it out in the past 15 months?
Mike, I personally like your analysis. I don't know why people get so hostile towards you, but also likewise, I've heard you get extremely hostile to some people on this app, and then I'm like, oh boy, like that's pretty crazy too.
Yeah, well, shit happens, but I mean, people get mad when anyone questions their side or whatever. People, this is a religious conflict to many people.
Mike, is it possible that you're just centering yourself a little bit more than the average person is in this room, respectfully?
Well, it's probably also that I have a bit more background in this. Like, for instance, way back in 2005, when the U.S. was embroiled in the Iraq War, there was insurgency there, I ran across a guy, a very smart guy named Thomas P.M. Barnett, who did these briefs to the Pentagon, and he wrote an entire book based on his briefs. It was a New York Times best-selling book called The Pentagon's New Map, and it also had a follow-on book. I read those books very closely, and I paid really close attention to that. So not everybody kind of has really any background
in understanding the big picture of military strategy. Like, I grew up playing diplomacy.
Yeah, I have the same
all
Avalon
these
Hill
war games.
I have the same
so-
Avalon Hill game. That does not make one an expert in strategy. It's a great game, by the way. Don't get
But
me
it's
wrong.
it's a way to understand certain kinds of things that, you know. I mean, strategy is pretty hard. Grand strategy is pretty hard, but
Mike, I think that you should take a hit. I'm not a moderator. I ask the moderators to control the room, but respectfully, I feel like you're droning on and on and on, and I think the moderators can make this a better room. I throw myself at the mercy of the moderators. I think the moderators can make this a better room by keeping everyone in the room succinct and by moving people to the audience that are not succinct. Now, the other thing I would say is...
Okay, you are now a moderator, Fred.
Okay, so the other thing I would say is my favorite person on all of Clubhouse is Yaakov, by far. And I lost my temper and yelled at Yaakov, and shame on me. I feel terrible about it. Yaakov is a genius. Now, the final thing I would say is I have tried moderating by myself, and I suck at it. I truly suck. I don't have the energy or the motivation to do it. So my hat is off to the moderators. I love and respect moderators, but I'm going to go on mute now for a while. I implore the moderators to impose discipline where they force everyone to be succinct.
Well, I want
I
to
agree.
say something.
Sure.
The hardest thing is we're gonna have to keep Shuki under control from calling people cunts. But yeah,
Yeah, no one is calling. No one should call anyone that. But I would say I would comment on what Mike said. I think Mike has a good analysis, and I think what he's saying in an indirect manner, and I don't want to trigger anyone, is that Israel and Benjamin Netanyahu will not meet their actual war objectives, which is to completely destroy and remove Hamas from.
That's not the topic for this room.
No, but
Thank
this
you.
was no, but wait.
Not the topic.
they've already exceeded their objectives.
I wouldn't be so
But Mike
sure about
addressed the
that.
issue.
I'd
Mike
like to
addressed the
say,
Okay, hold on. Let's stick to the topic, please.
I have
There's
to be
an
able
old
to
saying.
resonate here. Mike touched upon an issue of how Israel.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will never be.
Look. Let us discuss here. Mike had a good analysis, and
Yeah, we heard you. You said it. Okay?
Yeah, but don't interrupt me. You're getting triggered. Why are
No,
you
but
getting
you
triggered?
said it. You said yes, Mike's
Okay,
analysis. Yeah, that they'll never eliminate Hamas. Okay, we heard you.
Yeah, but
There's always
let me-
Mike is
let me
very
finish the
good at
point.
this kind of argument. Right.
It's like tofungus. I have trouble with my tofungus, by the way, also. As long as we're talking about things that I can't get rid of.
but
Yeah,
let me finish the point.
Fred, just a second ago, you said we can keep it succinct. Saddam, can you please
Let
keep
me
this
finish the
succinct?
point. Let me finish the point, and then you can rebuttal.
Saddam, your point is that you need to commit suicide.
Let me finish the point, and then you can
Go
rebuttal.
jump from a building.
What
I
I
think
was
you're
going to
having a
say
problem
is that
finishing
You're not gonna talk, bitch.
You don't
What I
have
was
a
going to
point,
say-
so you're having a problem finishing.
Guys, that's not proper discourse. We're not gonna throw anybody out of the room.
No, because you're
If
making
they want to make fools of themselves, they can make fools. But like Randy said, we already heard that talking point. Move on to the next one, Saddam.
But I was going to, but they interrupt me. So let me move on.
That's it. I know, but you keep elaborating. We're interrupt. Who cares? Go on to the next one.
Just don't think about too much, you know?
Yeah.
Just relax, guy.
Just go.
Yeah,
Just go.
relax. So what the next point I was going to say is that now the U.S. have sent a group to negotiate with Hamas in Qatar the other day, right? It was made directly between the U.S. and Hamas, and what the U.S. convoy there said was that they actually made some progress with Hamas, and they asked Hamas the realistic endgame, not the dream endgame according to Hamas, but the realistic endgame. And the realistic endgame according to Hamas is that they actually are not interested, and they are aware that it's not feasible after this war to govern Gaza afterwards. What they want is an interim government, which consists of all Palestinian factions, to run Gaza. And look, this was actually a reasonable proposal according to the U.S., but Israel...
Yeah, and
never
Hamas
accepted
just
it.
waits in the background as the Praetorian Guard, right? The virtuous, secret
thing.
military intelligence,
This
the
is the thing.
secret army.
Israel didn't manage to
Never
defeat Gaza.
gonna happen.
Israel didn't
Dream on, you motherfucker.
Yes, we get it. Israel did not
Dream
want
on,
it.
bitch. Dream on.
did not
Put
want
your
it.
mama in the intersection.
You just
Put your mama in the intersection. Mike and you can go and sit on the cactus together. Mike and you can go and sit on the cactus together.
Mike,
Fuck each other in the ass. Mike is a piece of shit exactly like you.
Mods, can you kick Saddam to the goose so at least we can discuss and address his question to a certain limited extent? But I don't think he's going to stop talking. Thank you.
Can we agree that whoever runs Gaza, it must be impossible to create more tunnels. There must be a force there, an armed force, to prevent additional tunnels, to prevent the rearming of Gaza, and to prevent the hate education which UNRWA allowed. This hate education is the assembly line to terror. So whoever runs Gaza, they cannot allow the hate education that was part of the system before.
Randy, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? UNRWA is not exist no more. Got disassembled. Okay, so what are we talking about?
Whoever runs Gaza, there cannot be replacing
Trump
hate
runs
education.
Gaza. There is no Gaza no more. It's Trump Riviera. There is no Gaza, never gonna be Gaza. Which part of that is so hard for you to digest?
But
Well,
should
can
we
we
agree
you have
that
to actually
Israel
get
should-
there. It's not the state of the world today. So to get
It
there,
doesn't matter. Today, Israel controlling Gaza. What next?
No, they control the borders of Gaza.
That's enough. They control also everything that's going on in Gaza. If you don't think that's...
But they
Is this even a
they
real
controlled that prior to October 7th. October 7th still happened.
October 7 is gone. Now there is new sheriff in town. Why are you
Well,
chewing
that's-
water?
That's back to defensive containment strategy. But it is true that Hamas wasn't interested in governing Gaza to begin with. They allowed UNRWA to do the governing and do the bitch work, and they just ran, stole money and prepared for war.
But Mike, you are
So obviously they
projecting.
would love to go back to that scenario.
Mike, you're projecting.
This is how to
Shuki
prevent
is
that.
telling you the reality that the future state of Palestine or Gaza, that's over. A rebuild plan is in place, and with Trump in office, your position is not only not tentative, it's just not going to happen. These are terrorists. They're going to it's going to be a drawn out, conflict, but their position is terminated. These 4 years of Trump is going to end it.
I haven't seen any plans. I haven't seen any plans that I think will realistically do that. Maybe they emerge.
Do you honestly
but
think that
I
Trump
have my
isn't going to
doubts.
go to war? He's going to go to war with Barbary
Trump will not
pirates.
send US
He's going to
troops to
send the
Gaza.
Marines. The Marines are going to go in there and take them out. They're going to do a joint military operation. It's going to happen. Trump and Bibi are shaking hands behind the doors, and a war is about to erupt that these dumb fucks, if they don't release their fucking hostages, their asses are cooked. There's only so many negotiations and so many meetings and communications before a Marine contingent. Just talk to a Marine and ask them what they do. They live for this. They're going to go. If they don't literally bend the knee, they will not get the victory.
Americans
But to root out Hamas long term requires staying power, not just firepower.
The saying is, whoever bends the knee wins the victory. But you got to understand, with Trump, it's a wild card. He's the Joker. It's a Trump card. I'm telling you, these people are fucking with fire.
I disagree if you think it's likely that the U.S. sends troops. I don't think there's any evidence of that's likely.
Since 1776, every 4 years, U.S. men have gone overseas and fought to the death in extreme battles. Trump is a phoenix. His fire is rising. These people have fucked with fire. They're gonna get burned.
Yeah, but the Israelis have a doctrine. Israelis have a doctrine to never use foreign forces. And Israelis control the battle space. They control who comes in and out of this battle zone.
Well, there's an American hostage there, and at some point, it's in our interest to get our hostage. No. So it's time for them to release the hostages. I mean, Trump is trying to negotiate
the release, but then what comes after? I mean, eventually Hamas runs out of time. They'll either run out of time or they'll run out of hostages. And then
they're running out of
the terminal state of this war. And then what is going to be the final, will there be another round of war to remove Hamas? Can they be basically,
yes, Israel's on high alert right now.
Mike, go, what the
There's 400,000 people being mobilized. Are you not looking at this? There's 70,000 ready to go in.
Okay, but so they go in.
Yeah.
But will this one mission plan be decisive? Maybe.
Yeah, they're going to play whack-a-mole the way most of them Fallujah until those guys are gone. Aren't you reading the tea leaves?
Something has to replace us.
That's correct.
To replace them long term.
That's correct.
And what the composition?
It's called nothing, Mike. Nothing replaces something. They will be turned to nothing. Your analysis is off. In my opinion, these people will be turned to nothing.
No. I mean, there's 2.5 million people there, and Hamas is blended in and embedded in the civilians. It's hard to track them all down. This would require a long-term police effort, and Hamas is going to wage an insurgency against them.
What the fuck is this? Guys, you cannot hear anything. I'm so sorry, but we cannot.
I know it's muted. Mike, the point is, Trump is the wild card. This is what these people listen. There is a justice and an equilibrium. Trump is that justice and equilibrium. He is the supreme judge. He's the supreme judge of the land right now. He's got the firepower. He's got the men. He's got the relationship. It's gonna happen. He is the supreme justice. Trump is coming like a fiery phoenix for these hostages. It's in his messaging. You're not reading the communication. Read what Trump says. These people have a clock over their heads. They're about to meet fire. If they don't bend the knee, they will be destroyed.
Trump made threats and then didn't follow through.
All right, let's go one at a time. Let's go.
Not real.
Let's go one at a time. All right, one, you made your point. Did you want to respond, Saddam?
Yes, I want to respond.
First of all, make it one point. Let's not go into a long tirade.
Sure. First of all, one lives under some kind of impression that he thinks that, okay, let's say you eradicate Hamas completely. You still haven't solved the demographic issue of Palestinians staying in Palestine.
In Gaza, you mean? We're just talking Gaza now.
Well, the West Bank too, because they
let's just talk about Gaza. West Bank is a separate question.
Let me tell you, Saddam. No, all of you, shut up. Saddam, one more time that you're saying that ugly word, Palestine, and you're getting kicked out. One more fucking time that you're gonna try to blend. No, there is no free speech with me. I'm a dictator.
Yeah, great.
And you're a piece of shit of an Arab.
Okay, I think that I'd like the moderators to enforce one point at a time. Don't allow people to make 2 points.
It's a good idea. Good idea. Also, try not to change the subject. So, Saddam, if you can't figure out what we're talking about, just listen for a second. Because the topic right now is Gaza. And one said that we're going in no matter what. Now, if you want to respond to that, you can. Or the next person can speak. Very simple.
Well,
okay, so I'm going to respond to that since I've stayed silent for a while. I think it would be insane to let a single American soldier die fighting for Israel. Because if American soldiers die fighting for Israel, it's only going to turn the great mass of white Christian people in America against Israel. So no Americans dying for Israel. What's better?
Thank you.
What's better for Israel? Okay,
that's what
what's
we
better
want
for
to
Israel?
know exactly, Fred. Thank you.
Yeah, but Fred, if I could just respond, I know a lot of Christians Americans who are former, soldiers and warriors, and they are willing and ready, and I believe fully integrated, and they will go free hostages.
Okay, I'm going to answer, and then the moderators can let other people up, okay? In my opinion, no Americans should die for Israel ever under any circumstances. What's best for Israel is to have America solve its other diplomatic
You kicked me. Oopsie daisy.
سلامي على العزة من سوريا لغزة والكفر بالجزة والجيش راح ينصاب والكفر بالجزة. انت مو شايل الاغنية، انت مو شايل الاغنية عليها. ايوه مش دي، ما خلينا شغال. بس حلوة حلوة منيحة، بتنفعنا. سلامي على مصر دولتنا منصورة حياتها. سلامي على الأصحاب. لا. Or any stronger drink or whatnot. So in that sense, it could be looked at as being separate from something.
Right, and she had to take on the same restrictions as the Nazir, specifically. Since she was going to be a Nazir from the womb, she was not allowed to deal in the Yayin. Right? She was not allowed. It was just a
Why did I do that?
it was just a parting thought because I gotta go.
Okay.
I did. Oh my bad.
Hi.
Don't go.
My bad. Go
Wait,
ahead.
is this the audience that y'all wanted to be free? This right here?
Yes. So I got it. No, I got it. Rock, what's up? What you need? You wanted to be free from the goo?
So all my resources. I am living in health.
Garage.
Money flows to me easily. I have beautiful relationships. I have beautiful friendships. I give out love.
That was Garage Global.
Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Leshalom. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu. Please don't scroll. I'm just trying to
Commensurate with our belief and trust in Hashem is the protection He affords each of us. The Talmud in Barachos 57b teaches that sleep constitutes 1/60th of death. In response to the need for greater protection, we recite the Shema and scriptural verses portraying Hashem's protection. And this is the bedtime Shema. Master of the universe, I hereby forgive anyone who angered or antagonized me, or who sinned against me, whether against my body, my property, my honor, or against anything of mine, whether he did so accidentally, willfully, carelessly, or purposely, whether through speech, deed, thought, or notion, whether in this transmigration or another transmigration, I forgive every Jew. May no man be punished because of me. May it be your will, Hashem, my God and the God of my forefathers, that I may sin no more. And whatever sins I have done before you, may you blot out with your abundant mercies. But not through suffering or bad illnesses. May the expressions of my mouth and the thoughts of my heart find favor before you. Hashem, my rock and my redeemer. Blessed are you, Hashem, our God, King of the universe, who casts the bonds of sleep upon my eyes and slumber upon my eyelids. May it be your will, Hashem, my God and the God of my forefathers, that you lay me down to sleep in peace and raise me erect in peace. May my ideas, bad dreams, and bad notions not confound me. May my offspring be perfect before you, and may you illuminate my eyes, lest I die in sleep. For it is you who illuminates the pupil of the eye. Blessed are you, Hashem, who illuminates the entire world with his glory. God, trustworthy King. Take your right hand and cover your eyes and say the following. Hear, O Israel, Hashem is our God, Hashem is one and only. Blessed is the name of his glorious kingdom for all eternity. You shall love Hashem your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your resources. Let these matters that I command you today be upon your heart. Teach them thoroughly to your children, and speak of them while you sit in your home, while you walk on the way, when you retire, and when you arise. And you shall bind them as a sign upon your arms, and they shall be tefillin between your eyes. And write them upon the doorposts of your house and upon your gates. May the pleasantness of my Lord our God be upon us, and our handiwork may you establish for us. And our handiwork may you establish. Whoever sits in the refuge of the Most High, he shall dwell in the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of Hashem, he is my refuge and my fortress. My God, I will trust in him. For he will deliver you from the ensnaring trap, from devastating pestilence. With his pinion he will cover you, and beneath his wings you will be protected. Shield and armor is his truth. You shall not fear the terror of night, nor the arrow that flies by day, nor the pestilence that walks in gloom, nor the destroyer who lays waste at noon. Let 1,000 encamp at your side, and 1,000,000 at your right hand, but to you they shall not approach. You will merely peer with your eyes and you will see the retribution of the wicked. Because you said, you, Hashem, are my refuge. You have made the Most High your dwelling place. No evil will befall you, nor will any plague come near your tent. He will charge his angels for you to protect you in all your ways. On their palms they will carry you, lest you strike your foot against a stone. Upon the lion and the viper you will tread. You will trample the young lion and the serpent, for he has yearned for me, and I will deliver him. I will elevate him because he knows my name. He will call upon me, and I will answer him. I am with him in distress. I will release him, and I will honor him. With long life will I satisfy him, and I will show him my salvation. With long life will I satisfy him, and I will show him my salvation. Hashem, how many are my tormentors? The great rise up against me. The great say of my soul, there is no salvation for him from God. Selah. But you, Hashem, are a shield for me, for my soul, and the one who raises my head. With my voice I call out to Hashem, and he answers me from his holy mountain. Selah. I lay down and slept, yet I awoke, for Hashem supports me. I fear not the myriad people deployed against me from every side. Rise up, Hashem, save me, my God. For you strike all of my enemies on the cheek. You broke the teeth of the wicked. Salvation is Hashem's. Upon your people is your blessing. Selah. Lay us down to sleep, Hashem, our God, in peace. Raise us erect, our King, to life. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Set us aright with good counsel from before your presence, and save us for your name's sake. Shield us. Remove from us foe, plague, sword, famine, and woe, and remove spiritual impediment from before us and from behind us, and in the shadow of your wings shelter us. For God who protects and rescues us are you. For God the gracious and compassionate King are you. Safeguard our going and coming for life and for peace from now to eternity. Blessed is Hashem by day, blessed is Hashem by night. Blessed is Hashem when we retire, blessed is Hashem when we arise. For in your hand are the souls of the living and the dead. He in whose hand is the soul of all the living, and the spirit of every human being. In your hand I shall entrust my spirit. You redeemed me, Hashem, God of truth. Our God, who is in heaven, bring unity to your name. Establish your kingdom forever, and reign over us for all eternity. May your eyes see, our heart rejoice, and our soul exult in your salvation in truth. When Zion is told, your God has reigned. Hashem reigns, Hashem has reigned, Hashem will reign for all eternity. For the kingdom is yours, and for all eternity you will reign in glory. For we have no king but you. The angel who redeems me from all evil, may he bless the lads, and may my name be declared upon them. And the names of my forefathers, Abraham and Yitzhak, and may they proliferate abundantly like fish within the land. He said, if you diligently heed the voice of Hashem your God, and do what is proper in his eyes, and you listen closely to his commandments and observe his decrees, the entire malady that I inflicted upon Mitzrayim, I will not inflict upon you. For I am Hashem, your healer. Hashem said to Satan, Hashem shall denounce you, O Satan, and Hashem, who selects Yerushalayim, shall denounce you again. This is indeed a firebrand rescued from flames. Behold, the couch of Shlomo, 60 mighty ones round about it, of the mighty ones of Israel, all gripping the sword, learned in warfare, each with his sword on his thigh, from fear in the nights. May Hashem bless you and safeguard you. May Hashem illuminate his countenance for you and be gracious to you. May Hashem turn his countenance to you and establish peace for you. May Hashem bless you and safeguard you. May Hashem illuminate his countenance for you and be gracious to you. May Hashem turn his countenance to you and establish peace for you. Yevarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha, Ye'eh Adonai panav alecha v'yichunecha, Yisa Adonai panav alecha v'yasem lecha shalom. Behold, the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. Behold, the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. Behold, the guardian of Israel neither slumbers nor sleeps. Hinei lo yanum velo yishon, shomer Yisrael. For your salvation do I long, Hashem. I do long, Hashem, for your salvation. Hashem, for your salvation do I long. For your salvation do I long, Hashem. I do long, Hashem, for your salvation. Hashem, for your salvation do I long. For your salvation do I long, Hashem. I do long, Hashem, for your salvation. Hashem, for your salvation do I long. Lishu oscha kivisi Adonai. Kivisi Adonai lishu otcha Adonai lishu otcha kivisi. In the name of Hashem, God of Israel, may Michael be at my right, Gabriel at my left, Uriel before me, and Raphael behind me, and above my head the presence of God. In the name of Hashem, God of Israel, may Michael be at my right, Gabriel at my left, Uriel before me, and Raphael behind me, and above my head the presence of God. B'Shem Adonai Elohai Yisrael, Mimini Michael, Umismoli Chavriel, Umilfonai Uriel, Ume Acharai Raphael, Ve'el Roshi Shkina El. Praiseworthy is each person who fears Hashem, who walks in his paths. When you eat the labor of your hands, you are praiseworthy, and it is well with you. Your wife shall be like a fruitful vine in the inner chambers of your home. Your children shall be like olive shoots surrounding your table. Behold, for so is blessed the man. People are could be this guy, the J. Bhattacharya, another one of these groups. You just said
you don't try to stop those thoughts. You just let them run as if they were birds twittering outside. And they will eventually get tired of themselves and stop. But don't worry about whether they do or don't. Just simply watch whatever it is that you are feeling, thinking, experiencing, and that's it. Watch it. And don't go out of your way to put any names on it. That's really what meditation is. And you see, you're not expecting any result. You are in meditation in an eternal present. You're not doing it to improve yourself. You found you can't do that. Your ego can't possibly improve you because it's what's in need of improvement. Your ego can't let go of itself because it is a complex called clinging to oneself. That's what it is by definition. So it's just something that evaporates when it is understood that it is unable to achieve a transformation of consciousness, mystical experience, the vivid sense of union of individual and cosmos. So, one of the easiest ways to enter into the state of meditation is therefore listening to what is, using the sense of sound. When you listen to sound, you listen to it, just the random sounds that are going on in the room and the street, as if you were listening to music, without trying to identify its source, name it, or put any label on it at all. Just enjoy whatever sound may be going on.
Jack shit without making a new enemy, and I don't think it should be done. If someone wants to rescue the Alawites, I would love to see Russia. Russia is the natural country to rescue the Alawites, specifically because Russia has been allied with the Alawites for 30 years. There's a fucking Russian military base right there with incredible firepower. So a better solution is for Israel and America and Russia to meet diplomatically, have a treaty today between those three countries, and let the Russians rescue the Alawites, not Israel. I'm done.
Fred, I think Russia will not do it very overtly because they need to hold on to their Mediterranean naval base in Tartus.
Exactly.
So they won't do it very overtly.
Yeah.
I think
they won't do it
what
they won't
pardon?
Do it. You guys, this
they
is
won't do
pretty
it
simple.
because if they are going to antagonize the Syrian government, they will be losing their base in the Mediterranean. They have the only base in Mediterranean, I think, in Tartus. So I think they will not do it. But I think Iran and other allies will try to come to the rescue of his Alawites if it becomes a full-blown civil war. That's what I feel.
No. Iran is no. Iran is not going to come to the rescue of the Alawites. The Alawites are going to leave to Lebanon, and we'll see what happens with this new regime, whether they settle down. But, you know, the place where people go is Lebanon. That's where they escape.
Shadi, where the anti-ethnic cleansing of the Alawite protests from all the Arabs, all the Muslims that care so much about that?
Silent. Hey, look, I have been critical. I hope you would agree. I have been critical of the Arab approach. And, you know, this is an opportunity. Although Lebanon is not in a strong position, but this is an opportunity to make a really terrible situation a bit better. And there is some steps towards stability in Lebanon, not huge steps. I don't want to overplay this, but it is if we took in 1 million Syrian refugees, many of which have left now back to Syria, we can take in 10, 20, 30,000 Alawites.
Are you referring to Israel? Do you want Israel to take these people?
No, why? I mean, it should be why would we expect Israel to do that? It's not their.
No, we should not. We should not.
It's not. No, the Arabs have to step up and actually something to help their fellow Arabs.
But which Arab?
No.
I think the Lebanese is a decent option. And then the government of Lebanon getting support, international aid to do that is a decent option. The government of Lebanon has been cooperating with the U.S. and the West in de-emphasizing the role that Hezbollah has. And so far, it's it's moving slowly in a direction that's de-emphasizing Hezbollah, which is a good thing.
Fadi, I think, sorry to intervene, Fadi, I think Israel what needs to do, it has to go on a PR exercise exposing the Syrian government, how it treats Alawites, so that it is like, so that Israel gets a good positive response, showing that how Syrian government is treating its own citizens, so that I think.
Yeah, Jay, the problem with that is Fred's right. All that will happen is that the Arab nations will now accuse Israel of taking a side, and
no, we should never intervene. We should never intervene by supplying arms or doing it. But we should try to tell the people in the West that how Syrian government is treating its own citizens. We are not going to take sides.
Respectfully, Jay, I'm not sure what country you live in, but I'll respond to you very, very succinctly. Every single intelligent person in America, every educated person in America knows that Muslims are always genociding millions of other Muslims. It has been the inescapable truth that Muslims cannot resist genociding other Muslims. After all, Pakistan genocided people in Bangladesh. After all, Syria genocided millions of people in Hama. It's called Hama Rule. After all, the Sunnis and the Shiites have been killing each other. Muslims always find a reason to gleefully genocide other Muslims. Now, every single person in America knows that. Every Christian knows it. Every Muslim knows it. Every Buddhist knows it. No one gives a fuck. Everyone understands and accepts that Muslims will always be genociding other Muslims. You're not going to win any political points by advertising that. I'm done speaking.
Christians, I want to add there, and Jews. And by the way, it's perfectly acceptable for them to kill all of these other people. It's only a genocide if it's a Jewish people or Israel involved in the opposite direction.
Yeah, there's a double standard. I don't even want to engage anyone that doesn't accept the reality of what I just said. I just don't even have I don't have the patience anymore to engage with them. The only people that I am fucking willing to engage with are people that accept reality. Someone has to love Israel and accept reality. And if you don't love Israel and you don't accept reality, I don't want to be in your motherfucking room. This room, in my opinion, this room is a debate that includes only people that love Israel, and we're trying to brainstorm creative motherfucking ways to help Israel. We're not lamenting the state of the world. We're realistic. I'm done speaking.
Wow, I've never heard you speak so passionately before, Fred. I wonder what Barney would say.
Say yabba-dabba-doo.
Yabba-dabba-doo, exactly right.
So I have a question. As of the last, hello everybody. As of the last few days since everything's going on in Syria, the one thing that I read today on the internet was that that someone that was being attacked said they recognized the terrorists as being Chechens. That's my first thing. The second thing is, I don't know how much truth there is to that, but are any Arab countries coming up and saying, hey, we're going to help you, we're going to save you, or is the world just standing by and watching them be slaughtered?
Well, who are the historical allies of the Alawites, right? The allies of the Alawites are, I believe, Russia and Iran. And so the Alawites, now I'm happy to hear criticism. I think the Alawites have gleefully, zestfully killed everyone else. So they have no friends other than Russia and Iran. If people disagree, I'm happy to hear.
There has been some alliances between the Alawites and the Christians in Lebanon. For example, my grandfather's village, which I lived in for many many years and visited. We were occupied by literally right in front of the entrance to the village. In all our churches were turned into military outposts, and we had 14 of them, small, humble churches. And they could have executed my grandfather. They chose not to. So it was kind of a okay relationship, I would say. They'd killed some Christians for sure, but they have some decent relations with the Christians in Lebanon.
It's a mess. It's an absolute mess over there, and it'd be nice if the world could open their eyes to it and to say, okay, these savages that are, I don't even know actually who's the bigger savage here, if it's the Golan or whatever his name is, people, or the Alawites that, were maybe starting it. I don't know. I think there's some conflicting reports on that the Alawites were maybe uprising, but I don't know if that's true or not. Point being is that under the Assad regime for 20 years, the Alawites did tremendous damage to Syria and waged war against their own people and used chemical weapons. And, so, I could see how the rest of Syria probably has it out for them. I don't know the full dynamics there. And to be, maybe this doesn't sound good, but, well, I don't know, put it in a nice way. But the Assad regime and the Alawites are no friend of Israel. In fact, they were a very significant enemy that wanted us dead. And they aimed and abetted Iran and Hezbollah to harm us and to kill us.
Yeah, they were very. My view of what's best for Israel, I'm happy to hear criticism. My view of what's best for Israel is for America to sign peace treaties with every country in the world. I want America to end all military involvement with the world and use the entire weight of the American military to crush Iran. I actually don't think the American people have the willpower to fight more than one enemy at a time. So, in the interest of crushing Iran, to me, there's only one possible thin way to prevent Iran from building nuclear bombs. And the only way to prevent Iran from building nuclear bombs is for America to have a peace treaty with all of its antagonists and redirect 100% of the American military to fighting Iran. Now, what that means is we're going to have to sacrifice a lot of other things. We may actually have to deal with some humanitarian crises not being solved by America. And the reason is, if, in my view, I'm about to land my plane, if America gets involved in a peacekeeping mission in Syria or bombing this or doing that, I think that it subtracts from the possibility of America solving Iran. And the bottom line is, to me, there's only one existential threat to America in the world, and that's Iran, and 100% of the military is be focused. Now, I'm not retarded. I know no one in the room agrees with me, but that's my...
You are retarded.
That's not nice. Hey,
it's back.
To the Alawites and Syria, I think that it's really eye-opening, and I'm glad to hear that Lebanon is going to take in a few, 10 or 20